What's up, everybody? You're listening to License to Ball podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third official episode of the License to Ball podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest, Mateusz Trohanowski. I actually met him for the first time through Gabe. We went to train once, and I just banged in a lot of goals on him. I don't think he saved one of my shots. But no, Mateusz is a very great guy, and he has a lot of wisdom in regards to football and life. But Mateusz, do you want to give a little introduction about yourself, how old you are, where you've played, and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
thank you so much, Bori. Hello to all the beautiful people out there. My name is Mateusz. I'm 28 and I'm originally from Poland. I'm a goalkeeper and I play for several clubs in different countries in Europe, like Austria, Germany, and Poland. And today I'm looking forward to share some stuff with you and have a nice time.
Yeah. Well, we're very, very happy to have you on the show, and thank you for coming to to speak with us today.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
No problem. Our co-host Gabe is also here.
Hello, how
What's
you
what's
doing?
up, Gabe?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. So I think we should just get straight into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go.
let's go. Mateusz and I, we know each other from a while back when I first came to Germany. When I was playing at Energy Campus, we first met, and then
Yes, it's true.
luckily we were able to meet again at FC Cologne, and we had some good times there where we worked hard and stayed after training, hours after training. He's a guy I really respect, and yeah, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. So like, how was your football journey been so far?
Yeah, my football journey has been a little bit interesting because I started my football, I think, when I was 7 or 8. I went for my first training to a little club here where I grew up. It's nothing special, it's a little village. And then when I was 14, I went to Vienna to play for Austria Vienna for the football academy there. This time was the best soccer school in the country. And I stayed there for 6 years. And later I moved to play 1 year in Poland, in Poznań. Later I moved to Salzburg to play there. And then I signed for Energy Cottbus in Germany. And after that, I went to Cologne, where I rejoined with Gabe, and it was a great time there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those were some good times, some weird experiences, but definitely a good time. So yeah, today's episode is basically on dealing with rejection in football, and so I have a few questions for you for dealing with that. So what was your opinion on rejection in football before you started? Like, was it something that you thought of as a good thing or a bad thing? Something that you needed to go through, or is it something that you just never really thought of?
Yeah, I mean, rejection in football is a very good topic and a very good question that we speak about, because I think it not only affects us in football, it affects us in everyday life and in every area of our lives. But we are footballers, so let's speak about rejection in football. So, to be honest, I was not thinking so much about rejection, because when you're a kid, I think you look up to all these big players and they all made it. They never had a rejection. Like, they went like from one step to the other. And it's all like this. It's like in the movies, but life's not a movie. But movies are made out of life. So um, just later, when I think I hit the real world, then you start to think about rejection, what it means, and how to deal with it, and how to help the others. So yeah, I think it was you develop like with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bori, how about you?
Um, I think like Mateusz, it was the same for me. I never really thought about rejection in football in general. Like when I was younger, my idea was that it was just gonna be easy. You go one place and then it's gonna work out perfectly the first time. Then you go to the next place, work out perfectly again. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Goal. Like, have you ever seen Goal?
My
Goal, The
favorite
Dream
movie growing
Begins.
up. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Santiago Munez. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's how I thought it was
Santiago.
gonna
Yeah.
be.
Newcastle FC.
Facts. I thought it was just like that. Somebody sees you on the street, takes you to Barcelona first time. You meet the first team manager on the first time, but nah, it's definitely not like that. But yeah,
No, I definitely feel that. I feel like when you're younger, you just have this view of there's just a straight road to success, and yeah, life hits you, and then you come to a realization that it takes time. There's going to be a different route that you're going to have to take to get to where you want to be. But when was the first time you experienced rejection, Matthias?
Boo. It's a very good question. I've been thinking about this. Um, the first time when I experienced, like, I think there's different type of rejections, but um, because they can reject your your success even, So, but
yeah,
I
that's
think,
true.
yeah, I think even more in the case of, okay, they don't want you here, or um, you didn't make it through the trial and stuff. But my first time, I think I was 18, and I signed my first contract. I think it was for how do you say, for an adult team. Like, I didn't play youth anymore,
Mhm.
and I signed a contract. Everything was fine. I was like, okay. I was coming like from the best soccer school in the country. I went to several tournaments in Europe. I was also one time with the national team under 15 in Austria, and I was thinking, okay, like, I'm 18. I'm young. I'm good. I always, what I would say, my strongest thing is my mentality. This was always my biggest advantage. And then I meet this team. I met all the players there, the coaches. I have to say, like, for 2 years, it was a disaster because I could not identify with their, let's say, mentality, with their style of working, how they thought, how they view football. And oh my gosh, like, I I cried so much, to be honest, and it was my first 2 years after not playing youth anymore that I could still play youth. But I went there because I thought it was the right step. And but this was the first time when I felt, like, how to say, misunderstood. I felt alone. I felt, okay, like, I'm not good enough. I felt, you start to doubt yourself. And yeah, it really hurts. I could think um, it's a lot of feelings that go through you, like, because I was also, I think, the youngest on the team, and everyone was at least like 5 6 years older than me. And so it was really really hard, like, to go through this rejection, because I felt they didn't respect me, and I was like giving my best. And I think this was the big rejection that I had to face, that you give your best, you give who you are, you give your values, your best, and they just say no, or they just ignore it. And yeah, this was my first rejection that I remember.
Yeah, it's not easy to deal with, and especially at that age. And so, like, what are the things, like some of the things that you did to like deal with it during that time?
Yeah, during the time, I mean, because it was kind of my first rejection, and I came out of let's say, I came out of an environment where I was the captain of my team, of the under 18 Austria Vienna. I was the captain. I was like the, let's say, because in the school they choose every year, they choose the, let's say, the player of the year. And when I was in the under 18, I became the captain, and I became also the player of the year. They chose me, so I was like kind of an example to all the other younger players, and I felt like kind of a leader. And I wanted to bring this also into the other team that I was joining. Of course, the other guys were more experienced; they were older than me and stuff. But to me, this didn't matter. But to be honest, I didn't had the right people around me, and I felt lonely. I felt so lonely with my thinking because I felt I had no one who thought like me or who saw football like me. And yes, I couldn't go back anymore to where I came from, to my old environment. But this environment was, let's say, killing me. And yeah, so I I kept going. To be honest, I just I had to keep my eyes on my vision, what I believed, even if no one believed in it, and or if no one even supported it. So this was, if I think back, this was my only thing that I could survive this time. That I didn't give up on how I saw football, what I believed in, what was my mentality. So I think this helped me to survive.
Yeah, that's
I have a
interesting.
sorry,
Um,
Gabe. Can go ahead.
yeah, it's just interesting how you said like, um, you at a young age you have these like external voices where and we can't really deal with it because it's just like something we take in, we haven't experienced, and it's interesting that you said there like the people around you didn't really understand. So, like, how did that sort of affect you? Because as a young athlete, you don't have much experience with the things that come around you and the people that are around you, and ultimately that's when you learn, the type of people that you want to have around you. So, like, how did these people affect you?
Yes, exactly. I think you live and die with people. This was so important because when I was 12 years old, I wanted to play for Ajax Amsterdam. This was the best soccer school in the world. At this time, I wrote them a letter, but they rejected me. But this time, I didn't care because I was 12 years, so they sent me a post and everything, and I was happy. But then I went to Austria Vienna, and it was the best soccer school. Like I played 2 years with Alaba, for example, and who is now playing for Bayern Munich, won the Champions League several times, and so there were lots of great players there with me. And it was we went to I remember Nike World Cup in Manchester. We made the third place, it was very good. And I came out of an environment where like you go there and train, you play for Austria Vienna to become a pro. Like you have the best coaches in the country, you go to the best tournaments, you have, like, how do you say, the best environment, the best, not the best, but you have a very good people around you, like high quality people who have a very strong mentality, who have experience, who play, I don't know, 20-year professional soccer, who play in different leagues in Europe. And I came out of this environment, and then I worked with very high class people in my youth. And then I went to this team. There was a second league team at that time in Austria, and you start to compare like how they think and where you come from, and then it's like a war. It's a war because you think differently, they think differently, and then you start to compare. Hey, I was working with this guy. He taught me this, and now someone else is coming and teaching me completely something different, and like you don't know who to believe, who is right.
Yeah.
And I always choose in my mind to believe the person who lived it, the person who
Yeah.
was there, who saw it, who went through it, who experienced it. Because the other coaches, they never played high. Like this team that I went, they never, I don't know, the highest they played was like third league in Austria. That it's not really good. And they never even play like professionals. So it was really really hard because at the same time you want to play, you want to fit in, but on the other side, like, you cannot deny what you believe in. And then it's like a choice, you choose to
Yeah.
to believe something, but in order, then you get rejected. You have no choice, you have to go through this. And it was my experience.
No. What you said was very interesting. Um. I know how you talked about leaving Austria Vienna, the under the youth team, and having like a very good standing there, into going to a first team environment, and then you said they're giving you different opinions of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And when you said that, I just remembered the story of Benzema. I can't remember what age he went into his first team at Lyon. It was Lyon, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lyon.
Yeah.
I remember I heard the story of him. You know, like when all the players do that, like when you're new, you have to do singing and everything.
Initiation, yeah.
Yeah, initiation. So he was singing, and then after he finished singing, everyone was laughing. He said something like, "Yeah, I hope you guys know that I'm here to take one of your spots." You know, as like a young kid in this first team environment. So like from your experiences, what breeds that in like a player? Like in your situation, why why are some players able to do that? Like go into that environment even with all the outside voices and still be like know exactly what they want. But because I've experienced it as well. Even I think recently when I go into new environments, people are telling me something different. Everyone has an opinion of what's right and what's wrong. But then how do even on the pitch, you know, some players will tell you step, some players will tell you, you know, don't go. Everyone has an opinion. So how do you as a player deal with that, like looking back on it now?
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned with or I developed an understanding for this that when I enter a team or a new environment, like like I said in the beginning, like I have my vision, like I have my values that I identify with. You know, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is why I come to training every day. This is why I'm part of this team. And this for me is no negotiable.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, I listen. I want to grow. I wanna have help. I want to learn from others. But
Yeah.
what I believe in and what I see works and has true value and gives something to the team that I can bring to the table that helps everyone. So this for me is non-negotiable. And then I enter a new environment or a new team, and I observe the first kind of months. Let's say I observe the team, I observe the players, what they say, what they do, and then I like, okay, I put them into places like, okay, who can I trust, who can I listen, who is just talking but never is on the ground, you know, whose jersey is never dirty, and I'm like, okay, bro, I understand. Like for you, football is just a Muppet show, you know. But for me, this is something different. I love. This is my passion, you know. This is
Yeah.
my values. This is my work, you know. I don't come to have fun. Of course, it's fun, but I also come. I want to achieve. I want to create a team. I want to create values. I want to create like a feeling. This is where I come, and because I think every player has different reasons why they play and what they do, and
Facts.
so I remember in Cottbus I had one player, man, he was talking like he's, I don't know, Ronaldo, you know. He was behaving, dressing like, bro, I never saw him down on the field like making a tackle, never. And like for me, I had no respect for him, you know, like it was for me, okay, bro, you you don't bring anything to this team. You're just, I don't know, you are the, how do you say, mascotian, you know?
Mascot, yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe, do you know
So
who that is?
Hey, leave me out of that. I don't know.
yes, and there is many different examples because then I see, or in my, let's say like this, I saw people in my life like the best athletes in the world, not only from soccer, but man, and how they are, how they work, how they think. I can say, Gabe would agree that right now, for the last 2 years in Cologne, we had a very good assistant coach. I don't know. I think he was one of the best coaches I ever had. His name's Makana, Kevin McKenna. Bro, everything he says, he's like a role model, you know. He's no show off. He doesn't drive a big car. it's not nothing against driving a big car. You can, but you like his values and his belief and his quality comes first before everything else. And like this, for me, this is what I also believe in. And if you work with people like this, imagine you have a team like this. Like when everyone thinks like this, boy, you will be champions. There's no doubt.
That's true.
Yeah, shout out to Maka. He
Yeah.
was a great coach.
Yeah, it was funny because when I think back, then they hired a first coach, like a head coach, but the real coach was Maka because it was so funny. Every player could feel it. You can sense it, like who is the leader, who brings the values, who is giving life to the team, and this is what football is all about, and this is what life is all about. If you have a family, if you work in different areas, it's everything the same.
This is what we do here at License to Ball. We call people out. So
Yes. Yes, we
if
have
we
to be
played
true
with you,
because sorry, when you go on the field and the coaches they think they always can say everything and no one will say anything back. It's not true. Like they also need to learn and grow. So we are here to help them. It's nothing.
if we've played with you, or if you've coached us, you're not safe. So you know.
Yeah, Matthias. So how did rejection shape your view of yourself, like during those times of rejection?
Yeah, I mean, I have I had so many rejections. I think everyone has this more or less, but I think I had already a lot. And in the beginning, I think it depends on the type of rejection because sometimes they reject you, but it's not against you. It's just, I don't know, it's a financial situation or something else. So I understand that
Yeah,
you don't have to take
yeah.
this personally. And sometimes it's personally. One time I had a coach, it was so funny. He told me, like, I should think about that football is the right sport for me, you know. And I
Jeez.
looked at him and I didn't answer anything. I should answer. I regret every time I didn't answer because And but to answer your question, Gabe, I had my problems. I had my problems because when you're unexperienced, you're not so stable. You're not so secure with yourself because you are developing your personality in your young years, and so you're a little bit easy to shake. And so I had to fight. I had to fight a lot not to believe these voices and to just keep my eyes on the right voices and on the right values. And this takes a lot of work and a lot of effort because sometimes what you believe you don't feel, even like you don't see it, and this is when it's
Facts.
the most hard. If you cannot feel it what you believe, and if you don't see it, then it's the most hard to keep going. But believing is not about feelings and seeing, so let's keep going, guys.
I like that. I like what you said there.
Wait, Mateusz. Um, I can really relate to what you were saying because I find that in my career, and we kind of talked about this before on the previous podcast, but in my career, I felt like the rejections that I went through, they really did a lot into shaping how I viewed myself and what I thought of myself. Somebody said that I wasn't good at this or something, I may just believe them. But you talked earlier and you said that you have certain things that are non-negotiable for you.
Yes.
And as you focus on those things, they help you um uh like push on in spite of rejection and other things. So tell me, like, what is what is this solid like rock that you hold on to? Like, what is your identity? What do you have that no matter what anybody else says, you hold on to? Like, I'm Mateusz, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Could you tell us some of the things that?
Yes, I tell you with pleasure. Like, let's say when I was 1 year, my parents we moved to Austria, and I came to Austria from Poland. And the Austrians, to be honest, I love Austria. It's kind of home for me, but this time they were not very welcoming, and I also experienced a little bit of racism, let's say.
Yeah.
And So I had to deal with this since the beginning. And but I grew up in a Christian family, and I believe in God and what He says about me. And I'm on a journey to, first of all, first and foremost, to discover Him and what He says about me, and to bring this into life, because this is my solid rock that I hold on to, that is perfect and flawless and can be unshaken, because even my opinion of myself can be shaken. So I need to hold on to something greater that is more
Deep.
strong than my problems and my turbulences. Um, Someone that is perfect, because I'm not perfect, but we have a perfect God. And I'm on a journey like everyone else. I'm not an expert, but this is my rock that is unshakable, and I believe in this with all my heart. And yeah, but in the end, like, it's also your choice that you have to say. Like, now speaking more specifically about football, that what you say is more important than what everyone else says. Like, if you are sure you're a good player, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because, like, for example, I think right now about Mesut Özil, man, he's such a fantastic player to me. And Arsenal, like, you could see over the years how they broke him a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very important, because you see how he, like, um, how he behaves on the field. You see just his, how do you say, his body language, you know, his body language. I think through body language you can read a lot. You can read so much about body language. If a player is anxious, if he's confident, I don't know, if he's thoughtful, you know. So body language tells you actually a lot. And so I believe that the most important is that you believe what you say, and doesn't matter what anyone else says. Yeah.
Genzo, you're making me get goosebumps at the things you're saying, man. No, really.
Mateo's just like Dalai Lama.
Yeah. Just,
Dalai
so
Lama.
so now, like looking back at yourself, like you have your strong identity, and you know who you are, and you know what you're working towards. Did you ever feel like this is it? Like I want to quit. I can't do this anymore. Like this is getting too hard. Did you ever get to that point? And like, how did you deal
Yes,
with
of course. Yes, of course. And I think it's now very easy to say this, but I think it's a good thing if you reach this point that you say, okay, that's it, I'm done. Because I think this is the real point where you start to grow. This is the point where, okay, I will develop now. Because when you're done with yourself, and then are still, then the God can come and work with you, you know. Then God can really come and work with you, and you get over yourself, and you grow your heart, your mind, your identity. Because I'm not perfect, like, it doesn't mean that I'm stable. I'm still growing. I'm still learning more, and adding to myself as a person, and adding to other people what I learn during my time on this earth. And I think it's very, very, very important that you have a mentality that, I had one really good friend. He always kept saying to me, you know, Mateusz, it's not over until it's over. It's not over until it's over. This sentence, this keeps me so much alive. And because when it's over, I think it's over when you decide when it's over. And I also experienced in my life, when I was thinking it's over, I had some unexpected favor, or let's call it a blessing, or whatever you want to call it, that there is something greater on this earth that takes care of us. And yes, so if he takes care of us, let's never give up. Even if we give up, you know, so I read once in a book, it says sometimes it's better to give up and trust God than to hold everything together and, like, die on the inside all the time. Because when you give, but I mean that you don't make yourself responsible for holding everything together. You can give up at holding everything together, but you don't give up on God. Like, you don't give up on believing, because I don't know. I think so many times there's so many different stories in the world that people what people went through, and so yeah, you never know what's gonna happen, and I think trying to control that will take your energy. So the only thing maybe you can control is what you believe, and that's all.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. And boy, how about you? Because like this, I assume every footballer at our age has experienced something like this, and it's taking us to a dark place at times. So how about you? How was your experience with that?
I definitely think I reached that point about 3 times, maybe four. I definitely got to the point where I'm like, nah, I can't take this anymore, you know. Um, but it's crazy, as Mateo said. I think it's when you reach this point that's where you start to experience true growth. As Mateo said, I think like I can't imagine a football career when nobody goes through a lot of rejection, you know. I think every bad thing you go through in football is preparation for your future, not just in football, but in life. And yeah, when I look back on it, I'm very thankful for these moments. And even at this time, the times when I said I don't want to do it anymore, I can't do it anymore. And the times where I actively tried to not do it anymore, tried to stop, I feel like those times God always like elevated me or brought me something like to a better place than I was, not just in terms of my faith in life, but also in football and in my football career. So I think, yeah, when you get to the end of yourself is where you start to grow, as Mateo said.
Yeah, but what I want to say, like, I think sometimes it helps us not to look from the end where we're standing right now, because then we don't really appreciate what we are going through, if it's a good or a bad thing, because I think it's always better to stand right now where we are, to stand in someone else's shoes and not say, believe, like, don't worry, everything will work out and this stuff. I understand that people say this, and it's a good thing to say, because this is what we all hope for. But I think it's always a better thing to connect with someone if you like stand right next to him, like where he's now, like to understand or feel or experience, let's say, the pain of rejection that sometimes in football we go through. So this is also, like I say, um, to be kind to someone, not to wait in the end and wave to him, hey, like, don't worry, like, but to get close and like, okay, bro, it happened, but it's not the end. It's not over. We keep going, and like, so I think this is maybe a little bit to create more closeness between players, friends, or people. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, it's not over till it's over.
Did you experience something like that, Gabe? Or
Where I wanted to quit, 100%, many, many, many times. I can't even count. Um, there's times where I felt like for footballers, like football is our life. Everything to
yeah,
us. And when it's not going your way, you feel like my life is over. What am I gonna do? And well,
yeah,
not all the time, but like there's the worst of times, and it's definitely gotten to that point where I've felt like I can't do this anymore. Like, what am I doing in life? Where's my life going? I'm useless, without football. And of course, as I got older, I learned that there's more to life than just football, and the rejection that I'm going to face, that I faced, is almost like a stepping stone. You're never really,
yeah,
you only tested when you're about to level up. And so
yeah.
that's like, I always had to sort of use that and keep that in my mind. Like, hey, this is the next step. I'm going to level up soon. I needed this. I needed this to humble me to. And it's always like when I got too above myself, God always brought me back down to reality, and it's like, hey,
Facts, facts.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this I can write a book about, I think.
yeah.
God,
God,
God loves to do that. He
yeah,
loves.
loves to humble you. Yeah, he loves to humble you. I've had so many stories I wouldn't even get into, but like and that's sort of helped me, be humble and always remember, like, this is just part of the journey, and to enjoy, the rejection, the the highs and the lows, all of it's part of the game, and you just have to take it step by step, day by day, and enjoy every moment of it, because that's like the sweetness of the success that comes later on.
That's great.
I always say this. I tell this to everybody. I'm like, if by God's grace I get the opportunity to play in the Champions League, when that song comes on, I'm gonna cry because I'm gonna be thinking about everything that I went through to get to this point. Like, I'll actually be crying and I won't be ashamed. Like, I'll be bawling my eyes out because I'll be like, y'all don't know what I had to go through to get to this point. So
Yeah, so true.
yeah, but you can't understand good times if you don't know what bad times feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, how did you limit the outside voices that were coming in when you had to go through rejection? Because there's always like people talking, you could have been here, or why aren't you there, or there's always people talking, whether it's negative, positive. Like, how did you limit that and just like stay focused, concentrate on what you wanted for yourself?
Yes, exactly. Like, I think in the beginning I tried to convince them if they were talking against me, and I wasted a lot of energy and time because in the end it doesn't change anything. It just, I think, it draws you down. So I learned through my life that people will always talk, and you cannot change people. And I think, as I said before, you're not as bad as they say, but you're also not as good as they say. I think you're always kind of somewhere in the middle, and you know yourself the best. So I think you can say, I don't limit them when they talk to me. They can just talk. What I learn is, like, I don't focus. I try to, like, come in one ear and let it out in the other one. So because they can talk a lot, and I tried really to focus on myself, on the good voices. Like, okay, there is bad voices around me, but there's also good voices. So I give my attention, my time, my money to all the good voices, and I don't have time to listen to the bad voices. Of course, sometimes you listen, but to keep your focus on the good voices, I think this makes it a lot easier, and you keep it clear, you keep it simple. So there's nothing to. And if someone gets too much, okay, you can have a conversation, you can even have an argument or a fight. It's no problem, because I think sometimes you need to fight in order to have peace later.
Of course.
And yeah, but I think focusing on the good things that build you up, to give you life, and that make you better, to put your time and effort there. And the other things, okay, they are just around you. You cannot escape, but you can choose what you look to. What you look to, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bori, how about you?
Um, I think with what Mateo said, it's pretty much the exact same for me. I really like what you said about you're never as good as they say and you're never as bad as they say. Um, there's something I heard one time. I think it's in a song. The person said, "If you live for their acceptance, you'll die from their rejection."
Exactly.
It's the truth. If you give people the power to build you up, then you're also like a byproduct of that is giving them the power to tear you down. So if you let them tell you when you feel you're good enough, then you're also letting them tell you when you don't think when you're not good. So I think that for me it's still a process, but just learning to say that irrespective of what people say, irrespective of what they go through or what I go through or what opinion this person has, this is still who I am. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, also what I want to share, just one thing quick, is, like, I think their rejection is just a reflection, not of you, but of them. And this
Yeah.
brought me so much peace to my mind because I think it is more true than is untrue. And I remember my first months in Cologne. I had some weird situations sometimes, and but this really helped me that their rejection is just a reflection, not of me. Because how can you reject, for example, let's say kindness? If you're kind to someone and you're rejected, it says a lot more about the other person than about you.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. So and now that you've dealt with so much rejection in your career, is it something that you anticipate or prepare for when you're going into a situation?
Yes, definitely. I think right now I prepare, or in my mind you go through different scenarios that can happen or will happen, and I think it's also like how you frame things. That you frame things before they happen, and or even after they happen. Okay, I got rejected or I got accepted. So um, I definitely prepare for this to also, like, let's say, protect myself and to be wise. I think it's a good thing to do. Yeah, and I think with every rejection, you get better. You get better. You get better. You get better. And in the end, you reach a level, I think, where it doesn't bother you so much anymore.
Yeah. And is there a certain thing that you do? Cause for me, I try to be open minded and say, okay, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And that sort of keeps my mind open. I'm not only sticking to this way or this way. Like I'm open to all the things that may happen. So like, what are the type of things that you may say to yourself or do to prepare for news that's going to come or a situation that you're in?
Yes, I always prepare like this. Okay, the first thing I think is the most easy thing, and we are all good at this. Okay, if something works out, okay, this is how I'm gonna be now. But at the same time, how to
Wow.
say, you're very open. Whatever happens, happens. I always play out the second scenario, no? How I'm gonna be, and I'm say, okay, if I get rejected, it's not. I don't say rejection is I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. Of course it does,
Yeah.
because in the end, I'm still human. I have feelings. I have expectations. I have hopes. I have dreams, and in that moment, they are crushed. They are crushed, no?
Yeah.
So we have to be honest. Like, we make ourselves vulnerable, no? But
Yeah.
being vulnerable, I think, is the best thing you can do, because if I look in our community, so many people, they don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to show like what they think, what they believe, what they dream for. They just want to be strong all the time, and this is not a real strength. And to me, so I play out the second scenario. Okay, if I get rejected, I can cry for 2 days, 3 days, and then I get back up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no shame in crying, man. There's we've
Yes,
all been
because I think, I don't know. Last time I read Buffon. Buffon says he cries a lot. He goes to solitary places and he cries a lot alone, and it's fine, because I think the rejection, like, you need to process it. You need to go through it, and it's healthy, because I don't believe, man. I don't know how cold or heartless you have to be if you're never touched by anything, good or bad.
Yeah.
So
there.
to me,
Yeah.
all these feelings is a sign. Okay, I'm healthy on the inside. Like, of course, if something doesn't work out, we cry, we we suffer, we feel pain. It's normal. This is a part of us, and I think we shouldn't reject this, not at all. We should welcome it. But I think if we deal with it in a healthy way, it will just help us. But to reject it, or like to, I am stronger than the pain, it's not true, because it's just a matter of time. No one can hit, like Rocky Balboa said, no one can hit as hard as life.
Yeah.
And it will knock you down to your knees. You have no chance. Whatever you do, like, I never saw a person who is like, so this is all. If someone is like this, to me, they can go and work for Hollywood to make movies, but in real life, it's not
Yeah,
like this.
life will
Yeah.
definitely knock you down to your back. Never mind your knees. It will
Yes.
You will be in the dirt.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
one thing though, I think for every player to realize is that your career, in like I would say in a general sense, is not, it doesn't hang on a specific moment. You know, I think when I was younger, I would go into certain trials and I put so much pressure on myself because I would say, if this, if I do well on this trial and I get signed by this team, this means that like my whole career and my dreams will be fulfilled. If not, like it won't be. But it was never true. I would go to certain places, maybe I get rejected, and I get another opportunity and go to somewhere else, and I'd learn and develop as a player, and then I go to somewhere else. So I think that's important for people to realize.
Yes, that's very good what you said. I think I also went through this. I also had this problem, and I was thinking that's it. And if it's not that's it, then it's over. But it's not. And yeah, and even to be honest, like right now is is not an easy time for all of us. But yeah, we just shouldn't make ourselves dependent on the opportunities that we have. We should use them, but they don't they don't determine our future.
Yeah, yeah. And also going back to what you said, I just wanted to add with the emotion. I think it's as players, we're almost like robots. We're told to do this, to do that,
Facts.
and we have to act a certain way in according to the club and how they want us to act. So oftentimes we suppress our emotions. And I think what you said there, you need to allow yourself to feel something. You need to allow yourself to feel the emotion. If you're feeling sad, feel sad and show it. Of course, in the most respectful way. Don't go beating up players or something. But in the most respectful way, and allow yourself to feel these emotions, and over time, you'll become almost a master of it. Because if it's always bottled up, eventually you're gonna implode. It's
Exactly.
inevitable. You're gonna
That's so true.
it's an imbalance. So you have to allow yourself to feel those emotions. It's a way of coping and dealing with rejection, and also helping you make this step.
Yeah, it's very good, Gabe. Like I also see it like this. I don't see football like it's not a game of checkers. I think it's a more game of chess. It's many individuals there. Everyone is different. Everyone needs different things. And I learned one thing that in weak cultures, people find safety in rules, and in strong cultures, people find safety in relationships. And I think relationship, I was in the beginning, everything falls and lives up with relationships. So your team, your I don't know, your family, whatever you are in, is gonna be better with relationships and not with rules. Yeah.
And so I'm actually curious now, like all the stuff that you've gone through. Would you still, if you could start fresh, would you still go through it again?
Yes, definitely, no question, no doubt about this. I will go through it, and yeah, what I realized, let's say, what I realized and what I learned that it's not the size of your dream that takes you out. I think it's the pain that comes with it. The problem is you just see the dream, you don't see the pain. You don't see the
Facts.
pain.
Say it one more time for people in the back.
Yes,
Say it one more time. What'd you say?
the size of our dream doesn't take us out. It's the pain that comes with it.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
think it's good even to anticipate the pain or like to see to go different scenarios in your mind. Okay, if I don't know, imagine you sign for a club and you think, okay, everything's gonna be well. Of course, we're all positive. But what if not? What I'm gonna do then? Like I had this also. Like let's say, to be honest, I had this in Cologne. I was there for 2 years, and the last year almost I didn't play anything, and I was like, okay, shush, I'm seeing this coming. I think this is gonna bring a lot of pain. What I'm gonna do? And honestly, like preparing like this, it helped me because I started to focus on where can I contribute, let's say, more to the team when I'm not playing. And this, because I think I learned from LeBron James. Like, what can I do to win a game? I don't know. Hold the towel, sit on the bench, encourage my teammates. I was looking at, because this was my only option. This was my only option. But I have also to say, like, the freaking coach, nah, for this attitude, I need to play every game. It doesn't matter how I play. I need to play every game. I'm just kidding.
You
Like,
fly.
Shots, yeah, for real, for
because,
real.
but you know what hurts me? Like, in the end, it's still pain, because I'm like, shush. I'm the only one who is thinking like this. I need people like this. If people would see this, I would play. But no one saw. No one saw. And I was like, okay. And I think this is the pain that, or the rejection that for me was when you give everything and it's not welcomed, or no one says anything. And
Yeah,
but anyway, I believe that you always bring your A game. It doesn't matter if anyone sees it, if they cut it, and because then you're really free. You're really free from their opinions, from their expectation. You just play because you love the game, because you love your teammates, whatever it is. So I think this is also true freedom. You're not dependent on anything. I come there because this is my vision of football, and okay, I don't play. Of course, I want to play, and it hurts. I don't deny the other part that is also included. But at the other hand, man, if you have this, and to me, this gave me so much, because through this situation, I got so much free from all the opinions, from all the what the coach says, how he thinks. I'm like, I think so differently, and what I bring to the table is so much better than what you think. So I'm like, okay. But in the end,
so
because
that
because I was still thinking wrong, because I'm like, why you don't see it? Why you don't value me? And I was like, because I was still longing for acceptance from the coach, and you need it, like, kind of, you need this because you want to play. But in
yeah,
the end, I'm like, I'm not doing this for them. Like, in the end of Cologne, I realized I'm not doing this for anyone. I'm doing this for God, for me. And it
yeah,
gave me so much peace, so much freedom, because I was really free. Like, I was not, okay, I don't play. But in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything that I'm a good, you didn't play, you must not be very good. It's such a lie, because
yeah.
I can tell different stories. Like, when I was invited for the first team in Cologne to train, like, it's not a joke. Other people can confirm it. I killed it. I killed it. I went there. I screamed at everyone. I was the boss on the. No joke. It's not a joke. I was the freaking boss on the field. The coach, Markus Gisdol, he came to me. He was like, Mateusz, I cannot believe you just played for the second team. And I was like, okay, then just take me to the first team. He just went away.
Facts, do it
Just
then.
he just freaking went away. He didn't say anything. And this is, man,
Yo,
this is football. But I was not disappointed, because it's just a picture of him. He's a good guy, everything. I don't say anything. But I'm like, okay, why you say this to me and then just go away? And but life is not fair, and we should not
yeah.
expect it to be fair. But we should give our best. And I was doing this, so I don't have anything to say.
That's big facts. Yeah, if you're saying that as a coach, you should be telling the technical director, "I need this person in my team." But
Yes,
I
man.
just remember.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, after the training, the second day, the head coach of the second team, the goalkeeper coach of the second, came to me. They were like, "Nossa, Mateus, you killed it there. They said so many good things about you, bro. I got never invited again for the first time." I'm like, "Yes."
Yo, this is football.
Yeah.
This is football.
So in the
But
end, I'm like, okay, they are lying to me. I'm like, okay, then why they are saying this? But in the end, nothing happens. But what they say is true, because I felt it, the player saw it, and whatever. Like, so it doesn't matter. It's past. It's just a funny story.
yeah. So this is a question for you guys, but would you rather be in a team that wins every game but you barely play, or in a team that loses a lot where you play a lot?
Should I go first?
Yes, go great.
Yeah, I already know which
Um,
one's coming.
yeah, I'm trying to play every single minute. I don't care if we lose 5-0. I don't care if we lose 6-0. Put me on the field. I don't care. Because my thing is like,
Yeah.
I get, you help the team from the side and you're winning. But like, I play football because I play football. Like I want to be a part of it. I
Facts.
want to be on the field. I want to be playing. You know, from the sidelines, you're helping and you're playing, but only to a certain extent. Like I
Yeah.
want to be on the field. I want to enjoy to the fullest, and I assume every footballer wants to do that. Unless I'm like getting, I don't know, 5 million per game. There's no reason that I should be on the bench and being happy with that. So yeah, definitely. I definitely play and lose any day of the week.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, we'll release this episode after the season so you don't get in any trouble from your team. Mateus, you?
yeah. I wanted to ask you first. What would you choose?
I asked this. I asked this because a player when I was in Portugal, he asked me. I was in the shower and he asked me which one would you choose, and then I made it like made a specification. I was like, how many games have I playing? And I think he said something like 10 matches, and I said, oh, okay, then I'll choose the team that wins. But that was a whole lot of cap. I'm not even gonna cap. I was lying. I was lying at that time. I wanted to pretend like I was a team player. Homie, I know what it feels like to not play. I remember the first time when I was playing PDL, which is Professional Development League. It's like where like the under 23 teams and like MLS teams and stuff play.
Yeah,
I remember I went to one game and I wasn't starting. I used to starting every match. I went to the game. I wasn't starting. I was like, okay, I'll just come on in the second half. I saw that I was looking at the clock. 70th minute, 80th minute, 90th minute, and I didn't play the whole game. I think I came off. I was walking to the dressing room. I was like, wow, I actually just sat here for 90 minutes and I did not play. And I was taken back because that's the first time that had ever happened to me in my life. I do not like not playing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm sorry, but you know, I'll play better so that we can win. But I need to play. I'm sorry. What about you, Mateusz?
nice, nice guys, nice. Yeah, it's a difficult question because I think if you lose all the time, it's no fun, huh?
No.
That's why you transfer. You transfer. When you play well in enough matches, you get that transfer.
Yes, but it's also not fun if the other team wins all the time you don't play. So I think in the end it's better to lose and play because at least you could try. And then if you play in the team that's all the time winning, you're not playing, so you could not try anything. So it's better to try something worse than not to try anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. But Mateusz, before we let you go, we just have some rapid fire questions for you. We do this every single episode.
Yes,
So
nice. I like this.
I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. You can't think about it. You just have to answer first thing that comes to your mind.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Let's
Tell me
go.
when you're Are you ready?
Yes, wait. I need to get in position.
Okay.
I need to get in position to play a long ball for Gabe because he's starting. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
In your opinion, who's the greatest goalkeeper to have ever played?
Manuel Neuer.
Yo, you gotta answer. Who?
Manuel Neuer.
Okay. Best player you've ever played with?
Lewandowski. Against.
If you
Against. That's a
Okay,
whiff.
that's fair.
Sorry. Gabe is pointing at him.
Okay, if you could play football in one country for the rest of your life, what country would it be?
Oh, England.
Okay. If you could play on any team from any era, which one would it be?
Real Madrid.
But which one? Like Real Madrid with
With
Ronaldo, Real Madrid
Zidane,
with
Zidane,
Cristiano.
Ronaldo, Figo, and this stuff. Casillas on the bench, me in the goal.
Okay, Frankie's churros or Cafe Schmidt's cheesecake?
Kaffee Schmidt.
Oh my gosh.
Look, Gabe,
Gabe, what do you have to say about that?
I'm shocked. I'm really
no,
shocked.
Gabe.
Oh my. If you knew the amount of times we went there after training, after it's crazy. And this guy actually chose. Wow.
Yes, I like it, but Kaffee Schmidt cheesecake. Sorry,
It's good. I
Gabe.
can't lie, it's good. But Frankie Strills with the buenos was, oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
everyone has his favorites, you know.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
No, but thank you so much, Mateusz, for coming on the show. Do you have, before you go, do you have any advice for any players who are going through rejection right now in football? What would you say to someone if someone came up to you and they said, "I'm struggling with this"? What would you say to them?
When they struggle with rejection,
Yeah.
yeah. Ah, what would I say? I would say find out what is true about you, what you feel that is true, what lifts you up, what gives you life, what makes you better, and stick with it no matter what.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
this
that's
would be my first advice. Yeah.
wow. That's very good advice. Well, thank you very much for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you. You were speaking wisdom here and there. You know, I could have gotten down a pen and paper and written down all these things, but thank you so much for coming on the show, and we hope to have you again soon.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Bori. Thank you, Gabe. It was a pleasure to be with you, to see you again, and to hear your beautiful voices. I hope that our podcast can help some people. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was really a good time. I enjoyed it. I hope you too. And I hope we will see each other soon.
yeah.
Hope to see you too, bro.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you guys so much for checking out another episode of the License to Ball podcast. If you're new here, please make sure to follow us on all our socials. They'll be in the description below. And if you're not new here but you haven't followed us, I don't really know what you're waiting for, but please follow us on all our socials. And you guys just please continue to give us feedback. We just want to improve and make this podcast as amazing as possible. Anyway, in light of this episode, we just want you guys to remember that rejections and hardships don't define you. You alone chooses what defines you. So anyway, we hope you're having a great day. Until next time.